Well, I see the Al-Qaeda and Osama bin Laden. Definitely there's clear evidence of a blowback in here. The unintended consequences of an operation that basically we just close the door and say this unit is already finished and disbanded. We need to move to another unit or another operation. The unintended consequences is there. In the 1988 agreement to end the Afghan war, the Afghan Mujahideen were not included into the agreement, which essentially left a whole, at least at the time, it was 12 different factions, not party to the cessation or determination of hostilities in the 1988. Pakistan was involved, the Afghan government was included, the Russians were included, and the US, but not the Afghan Mujahideen. And therefore, for me, this is a big question of why not actually bring in a reconciliation structure, a Marshall Plan for the whole society and so on, so you could actually get a state that would emerge rather than keep it in a state of chaos. And I think the parties involved did not agree on a stable Afghanistan and render it into this constant state of warfare. And it just was a matter of changing dynamics that resulted in, I would say, Osama bin Laden being part of a blowback, but not only a blowback. I think Osama bin Laden did believe that he is the one that succeeded with his group in undertaking the Russians. And I think that created in him this magnanimity that I am, almost the savior that is able to change and alter the landscape in the Middle East. Well, chapter 9 has just been so misquoted. There's a verse in chapter 9 that says, kill them all, wherever you find them, and slay them, and don't show them any friendship or any mercy. That verse itself is just part of a whole two verses before and after, and it was part of a declaration of war. All right? So in declaration of war, if you look at that text within a declaration of war, within a war effort, then you could understand where that text. It doesn't say just wherever you find them, just draw your sword and just cut and kill them. That's not what this verse is. Was in a specific period where the Quraysh, relative to the Prophet, violated their treaty, and it was a declaration of war to permit hostilities, and even before it says, wait for 3 months to give them notice about the termination of the peace process, and then hostilities will commence. But if you take that one verse, I could build a whole ideology for you on any verse that you give me. I could just make you believe one way or the other. And often that verse is quoted. It's one of the favorite of talk shows, radio talk shows and television. It's just like they put it in there. This is what they say. And if you use the same logic in relations to the biblical text, you know the crisis that you will have to confront. Right? It's the comparisons that often are there. It's just people tend to believe the worst, right, in relation to the other. I always say that one is that when you're dealing with the Muslim world, these are humans. Right? If you pinch them, they say, ouch. Right? If you tickle them, they laugh. If you slap them, they slap you back. If you give them food, they'll eat it, and they give you some food back. We think that these are not human. These are subhumans or some species. And actually, some of the language that are used is almost that. That we believe that they completely are different species. There are problems in the Muslim world. It's not paradise like we have problems in here. Often the question is like, why are the Muslims so violent? Well, I live in Oakland, right? Every day we lose 2 in Oakland. Why are you guys so violent? We lose more people in this country than what we lost in Vietnam on a yearly basis. But once again, we tend to construct our view of the world in what you call a black and white, and not consider the different nuances that are taking place. Most people want to live a decent life, to grow up, to find a job, to get married, to have kids, and not live the American dream, but live the Saudi dream, right? Have an oil well in the backyard. They want to live a normal life. That's what you have. But once again, if you construct that these are the absolute evil, these are human, then you could mobilize to say that the way for us to deal is to get this cancer out. And the way to get the cancer is to kill them because it's better for them. That logic, I don't think it's healthy, it's beneficial, nor would be successful. I think it would be very problematic.